Sten's probably going to be the next caster, you know? Here we go. Let's go to pick ban. Vitality, game 1 win that was exceptional to say the least. But game 2, let's see what the odds are for BDS as we start on blue side. And BDS actually chose red.
2 teams choosing red side today, actually, for their second game, which is not what we've seen typically globally, and especially within the LEC as well. But still, the power of a counter pick does have value. One of my worries coming into this draft, BDS just lost with what I would consider a comfort draft for them. Yeah. It is something which they got an early game lead with. They did get into a point where they could sit back, play towards the front to back. Didn't work for them. So, do they get rattled by that? Do they go back to that comfort and just say, okay, no, it's just that game, it was just the Nymaera, it was just the Rumble, maybe that's just the issue. Can they try and find a comfort composition like that again without some of the picks from that first game?
That's a question, isn't it? The first 3 bans, Zinzao, Maokai, Jax. I know people in the arena are wondering, where's my pick ban? Don't worry, it's back. Gwen, banned away. The Gwen person isn't here. How disappointing for them.
No,
but
they are. They just screamed.
Did they?
Yes.
Every time. Or there's just a new Gwen person. But Yone is broken, especially with the Sejuani.
Can you imagine a Gwen civil war? Like, there can only be one.
What, with herself or?
Well, I mean, it'd be 2 people trying to beat Gwen.
Yeah, okay. Because isn't one side of Gwen purple or something, the other's blue? So the other one would be the purple-blue and blue-purple, you know?
I'm pretty up to date.
It's like an inner schizo. Inner Gwen schizo. I mean, she's a doll or something, isn't she?
Yes, yes, she is.
So,
look, Misfortune's been locked in.
It's important. The people want to know. Lock Yone Sejuani here. How clean is that duo?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that Sejuani banned away for so much of LEC's recent weeks, easily locked in. Now you can go to... Well, I mean, the thing is, I actually don't feel like you're pressured to go towards Yone if you don't want.
Nuke hasn't played at this split. So it's a big question. It's like, you're right, it might not be the pressure. Like, it is a good pick, but does Nuke really want to set it up?
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of his melee pick, Nuke, actually, I don't believe this split he's played a single melee champion. This might be more towards... Look, sometimes LCK does this.
Jace, quote-unquote.
Technically, yes. But wouldn't you have it? That's not I just saw the Victor Hobbit then. It's like, oh yes.
He has played a lot of Victor.
He has done. So yeah, we'll wait to see on that. It's more of a, I suppose I consider it more of an LCK thing where they pick the Sejuani not necessarily for the melee synergy, just because it's a very, very traditional, engage, consistent jungler, which is also tanky as well. They don't over-index into that melee kind of synergy. And we'll see whether BDS obviously choose to go towards more of that. They don't have something like that Gwen, which Rell would like to go for that melee side of things, but of course could go towards many other things for him.
We saw a lot of people still hovering towards things like Skarner, even over in Madrid, but like Wukong already, when you have Sejuani Corki, bit of setup for Vitality, plus opts in well if they do end up going to Yone and adding more AD. But how do you set this up? Do you get a support here, steal away something from mid? I mean, again, that Corki is a flex. Victor could be an easy option, or you take it yourself.
Okay.
Because Czajek has played this.
Yeah, he has. And I was actually wondering whether he could still go towards something. Well, now the thing is now, you have double physical damage, well, triple with the Wukong, physical damage carries. You do have some armor shred from the crushing blow of Wukong and then Black Cleave, which you'll build up, but there's a Stronian already. What happens if you lock in a Scion for Irrelevant at some point? Could be a bit of an issue with full armor stacking. And as we predicted before, you wasn't going to go towards a melee champion. It's not necessarily something he's gone towards. Likes to play towards that range, goes towards that Orianna. So now if you do go into, again, full physical damage for Vitality, it is potentially on the table there, especially with no Rumble to even out the damage, no Gwen either. Orianna's shield onto a front line makes it even harder to kill them. Yeah,
it really does. And I mean, setup with Sejuani's nice, but playing for the lane here is Nuke. Because again, that range versus melee for the Yone can be really brutal up until maybe that Blade of the Wrong King. I feel like it extends a bit with Orianna. Her bullying power is just so disgusting, especially once she has some mana to play with. But now the biggest question is, as they ban Victor, do they think it's Yone top?
It is Nako. So
it is Nako.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't played at this split, but look, we did say that Nako's a chef. There is the worry of a full physical damage composition from Vitality. There is also the outside chance of something like the Wukong going topside. We've seen it into Ambessa a little bit, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we saw it. Was it Oscar Renan that played it, but lost with it over in Madrid in the last few days?
I believe so,
that was the case. We had 12 games over in Madrid. All very exciting for sometimes.
Yeah, they were all very good.
So potential for Vitality flexing things around BDS, respecting that.
It's interesting. Renekton also banned out. Maybe they're fishing for Ambessa and Vitality saying, hey, no, we are playing this Yone. I mean, also, Renekton destroys Yone.
Yeah,
so
even when he was at his strongest, he did too.
It really sucks as a Yone. So you're also like, yo, we could be playing this Yone top, but also it could be fishing for Ambessa. You don't know.
In before, surprise! It's the Flandre Roa Sejuani top lane instead.
BDS irrelevant. Pull one out of the hat. I mean, it is fun when you get into drafts like this where you're playing the guessing game consistently. Double support ban. We still don't know where these solo laners are going, or at least where that Yone is going. Let's just answer the question slowly but surely. As Nymaera, what do you think? 80 carry match here, support counter pick for BDS maybe? Or maybe that Corki stays a flex and you go support here.
I mean, you have the Sejuani for engage, so you're not pressured to go for full engage right now. You might want to take away the Rell, because that would be really dangerous with the misfortune.
Sorry, I'm dumb. Obviously, it's going to be top counter pick because Corki's already there with Orianna, so Corki's going bot.
That's okay.
Get a priority support.
It's all right. Yeah, you let me have my fun facts earlier.
Okay. I did let you have two.
Yeah,
you got
very
two.
generous today.
I was ready for Carl to tell me all about salmon. And instead, now I know that scorpions can breathe for 17 days. And it's still a little bubble.
Yeah. Nisqy going towards the Rakan. Okay, so they do get themselves engage matchup in that bot side. Of course, doesn't have something like that.
Stop it.
Oh, hang on, that'd be so funny though.
What is it? Where's the Yone going?
Is it Le Poisson Steve? Is it Fizz? Do we have that?
Where is Yone going?
Come on, give us something.
They need AP. That's the thing. They need AP in this comp. Aurora is so boring. I know you like Ahri, but I think it's the same thing. All right.
Okay, so
Yone top.
So it's likely Yone top. Maybe it's just Nako saying, whatever he picks top lane, it'll be fine, right?
What do you think, Ahri top?
There is the chance for it. Ahri top's been okay for a while. In fact, when the Roa build came out, Ahri was played a bit in top lane because you do have good wave control. It sucks a little bit because you lose your ultimate a little bit more frequently. I think if Nago's top lane, I still think Yone's fine to play into that. He's a little weaker in lane than he used to be, but Nako, look, he plays all of his random stuff. I'll let him choose his matchup, let's be honest.
That's right. I mean, Nako is crazy. Like, even last game, they highlighted him. He got MVP in game 1 if you're just highlighting, audience sentiment. I know we didn't have a vote on it, but his rumble was clean. And again, to reinstate the fact that this top laner is growing with each passing day. He's like Carlson we had before. They keep getting better and better. The talent here in the LEC, by the time we get to the end of the year, we'll just win Worlds. That's the way it's going.
Heard it here first. Jake's
I say this every time, but NA have nothing, bro. All their good players are from EU. If you're listening, just read it and wait.
They had a game 5 versus FLICKR versus Carzzy, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. But did they get to first stand finals? No. That was KC. That was a European team.
Not even LPL have done that.
I didn't come from Australia to sit on this lukewarm cup of tea take that the EU is not better than NA. Instead, I came to say that we can beat Korea. You guys.
That's what you're here for, folks.
I didn't come here to dip my toe in the pool. I came here to have a schwitz. I came here to have a sauna. I'm in the wrong country, but I'm close. I'll go with Finn if I have to. Yeah, we'll have a sauna together in Sweden.
I hope it is a relaxing and wholesome experience.
It will be.
It's a game.
It will be quite revealing because I did not grow up that way. I know how they have saunas, but that's another day. Game 2, Vitality, Heretics. No, BDS. I was talking about Carlson too much, but you know the drill. BDS the same, 3-3. Vitality 2-3. Winner of this, and it feels like a safety margin will be born. Nako on the Yone top. He's taking lethal tempo against Irrelevant, who's just going to try and scale it, become a team-fighting carry. And with Grasp, he's just going to do his best to be a really good engage tool. Because on paper, Nymaera, I feel like BDS, it's again, another BDS comp. Nice front to back, all in, all buttons engage.
And I think that on the other side, Vitality, they have it. Hang on a second, we got something weird happening at level 1. Was it collapse? Charms. That's why we don't level up the charm before we know what's happening with it. Ahri already actually, okay, back in the day, Ahri was a good counter into Orianna in the early seasons of League of Legends, where you could land the charm and then just chunk her completely out. Yeah. Over time, I think Orianna has gotten a better and better matchup against Ahri in a strict 1v1. She trades through the wave better than the Ahri, and particularly at early levels. Especially now you started that charm, a bit of a problem. Also lost the bone plating too. That's a good crash now.
Gatling gun, ignite down. Nisqy might have to flash. I think he does, definitely. Heal burn first, the auto! Nisqy doesn't flash. First blood at 132, and Carzzy's in a 1v2 lane for the next 25 seconds.
I mean, we would start talking about the charm start in mid lane, not the flash start in bot lane. Nisqy, what was that? What was the thought process? And now flash forwards, suddenly
Parus.
Double summoners used by bot lane as a vitality, and BDS get a huge win in the early game.
Massive. I mean, no flash for Carzzy as well as a misfortune. If I'm BDS as their bot lane, I'm like, yo, we are going to slow push this. 1-1-3, change your path, come bot, bro.
Yeah, the thing is, he already has that, right? Because we now have 1-1-3 can path towards bot side. And Lyncas started bot side and was on a ward, by the way, so is spotted going up there. And that's a big problem because Lyncas can now no longer cover this bot side. There is a real chance that 1-1-3 can go in towards bot side, and now with double summoners down on Vitality's bot lane, could be a chance of a dive later on.
Really nice to see this BDS bot lane taken into their own hands. Remember again, Nymaera said at the start of the day, if you were actually listening,
What do you mean?
BDS, their upcoming matches, this is what they've got left. 3-3. They've got Fnatic, they've got Giant X, and they've got this one versus Vitality. Must win. We said BDS are back because, again, as we left them, BDS beat G2. And this state of confusion as Vitality beat them. Does that mean Vitality one of the best teams in the league? Are G2 washed? These are all questions we have. But the least we can say is that, like, BDS must win. This will keep their momentum going. And BDS are indeed back, baby. Just how much back, we just need to know. That bot lane especially, hot damn.
We've gone back and forth. Oh, hang on a second. It's a bit problematic.
He's got flash though, so if he needs it,
yeah,
he can use it.
We've gone back and forth on BDS a lot over this year.
Gone back and forth on a lot of teams over this year, to be fair.
I have to say, that's a good thing. That is a luxury, because it's nice to be kind of not held in this like, oh, well, we know who's winning. Oh, we know who the best and the very worst teams are. I think that's been shaken up. I think, you know, even teams like Giant X found a huge amount of momentum in Madrid, and I think that's fantastic for themselves. BDS, initially there were talks of, oh, are they, you know, solid top 4 team? And then they dropped out of that, and then they beat G2. It's very entertaining as a viewer to not be kind of kept in that one assumed state of affairs. BDS losing a game like that to Vitality where they are, show that again. The downside of that is you're never sure when you're a supporter of the team when you've got to be really confident in the team. It's a bit of a sad state there.
Also makes it fun for the team as well. I mean, Vitality, you could write that in spades. Like this team, you have no clue how they're going to go. They're versing G2, KC, and SK. Those could be wins, those could be losses. You have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, that's actually a 2-1. They're going to win versus G2 and KC and lose versus SK.
SK, yeah, I can see that. I mean, this series is still not done, so I don't know how it's going to shape out, but it is fun. Like, Vitality have been ramping up. However, still, as you saw, this 2v2 is not the main point, but that's kind of the fun part about new Vitality. I don't think this 2v2 is maybe as explosive as you would have expected with like some lanes of Carzzy and Hilly in the past. It feels like Carzzy and Nisqy just have to hold the ground as best they can because Czajek, Lyncas, and Nako are carrying games non-stop.
Which is, yeah, I think that when you look at the veteran status of this bot lane, and that changes throughout things as well, as that's the funny interaction where you charm someone with phase.
Phase rush and sprint to you.
Funniest thing when,
well, though. Honestly,
one of the funniest things is when Ryze does that, because he gets the extra speed boost as well. That man, the man really wants a hug when he gets
Have you seen when you fear someone as Fiddle?
Yes,
and like they do the same thing and they just sprint like a Master Yi you fear and he just runs off in the other direction.
Wonderful.
He always runs back. Nuke's winning the trades here at the very least. While we are talking about mid lane, Czajek has no TP, and Nuke's going to be able to fast push this too.
This is a result of starting the Charm, an already difficult matchup versus the Orianna as well. We talked about it a little bit. Of course, later on, once we get to that first ult of the game, that's where Ahri wants to accelerate. It's one of the reasons why I really do think that every Ahri player should be getting that Darksteel first back. We're going to see the Dragon started up here, traded for the Grubs on the top side. Nisqy just spotting this out. Vitality will have a moment where they hit the level 6 on the Ahri and on the Wukong to accelerate past the game and hopefully stop BDS from getting towards a safe point where they can, again, scale into the game and play towards their comfort 5v5 front-to-back team fights.
But even that, I'm not sold because BDS in the early game is Carzzy as he slowly pushes out this wave. He's going to get ganked by Ice, by Parus. Nisqy walking in the fog of war. He has his flash available. Remember, he's going to burn it and he gets out. Thank you to the grand entrance, but Nisqy, again, used everything to escape and he has no help.
Now Carzzy is going to get flipped back. He is a little bit, so he'll take a little bit of a trade. Parus takes 2 turret shots back, though. I'm not so happy about that one.
Who knew the day when Misfortune would get out traded by Corki? To be granted, though, there's a longsword in the inventory to match the Vampiric Scepter as 113 is zoning out. There's an engage from Nisqy. Arctic Assault over the wall. 113 has spaced it, but this wave is massive. This is an attempted dive.
Nuke's coming down too because Ahri is losing the mid lane matchup. So the mid lane transfers into the bot lane. Carzzy and Nisqy back off. Free play towards BDS. The whole map pressure of the early game working out in BDS's favor.
It's a plate already. Ice is suffering from success right now, and Carzzy and Nisqy are going to get the remnants of the wave, but there's still a 10 CS lead here in bot lane. It is so good for Ice and Parus right now. Good dodge from Nisqy, but Carzzy's just trying to get his trading back, and granted he's doing so. For BDS, they've got the wave right where they want it. They've got a base timer here.
Czajek holding the wave now. Wasn't there in time to do anything about that bot side to stop the that push coming through. Does want to just make sure he can recoup a little bit in this mid lane though. Is going towards the Rod of Ages build, has picked up that Ruby Crystal. We'll see whether he can use it. Again, the HP as a resource. I'm okay with any build as long as you justify it with your gameplay. That's the consolation I've had to come towards. I'm like, look, at Everfrost, I survived through that for years. You had your time, but maybe someone used it okay. That's where we'll leave it.
I miss Everfrost on Siles. That was so broken.
Like after I got nerfed, I was just sat there, we're holding my little like Magi Soul Steel. Like,
well,
would you like to read?
You preferred the hose, didn't you? Instead,
I mean,
Hextech GLP 800 or whatever.
So I preferred Ludens in that era.
Oh, okay.
There was a really fun Hextech Sheen Frost Queen's claim thing back in the day. You might pull the ult here.
Yeah, he might indeed. I mean, Czajek, look at the prediction. He thinks, he's going to Spirit Rush backwards or flash. Nuke being very smart. Czajek is going to reposition, and I think it's also smart from Czajek not to pull any of those buttons.
Yeah, Nuke tried to go for the predict. Sometimes you kind of throw out the ult as the Ahri just to quickly disengage. That would have been caught there, so Czajek, I guess, surviving one of the more common disengage plays. Nako doing well in this top lane matchup, actually, which is important. At the end of the day, get through the early game. If you get towards 1-2 items, you are still a Yone at that point, and that is a huge benefit to your team.
I mean, he's the only one in this game right now doing well. Good charm under turret. The minion wave's cleared as well, but Czajek is low on mana. If he had more of the bar, maybe he could have done something, but now Nuke's just going to be able to stay and probably force that TP. That's a point, because he can clear through the wave with less mana. It's always been one of the problems with Ahri into mage versus mage matchups. It was always a problem with Syndra back in the day as well. They clear waves quicker and for half the mana that you do. So Czajek's going to come back with a little bit afraid, of course, of something like a shockwave as well. Next wave does get to come back, though. Gets a blasted once. It has the AP component of the Rod of Ages, and now with a level 6, well, that's been for a while, it's level 8, right? Vitality will be looking for that first acceleration play of the game at some point with these top side methods. As Lyncas is now past the level 6 point, he's looking for an engage. This is where the Wukong window starts to open as face checking from Parus. He's going to look into the eyes of the monkey and see only banana. 113 face checks himself as well. I see pork versus monkey.
One thing which really happened.
Yeah, what's important?
We saw both the mid laners immediately start leaving the wave and going bot side while everyone discovered each other in that bot side river. Watch to see if they can join the play early.
Good damage coming from 113 as well. Out for the clone. Lyncas is going to get permafrost. He flashes away. Ulti. Reaction from 113 a little bit late, but besides the point, Flash is still gone. Lyncas thinks about a re-engage. His bullet time. The positioning is thought about as well. Czajek, meanwhile, the ulti's out through mid, but flat from Nuke! The Chad move. Czajek has to burn his own.
So that's what was happening to stop the roam coming through. That's why everyone was positioning so hard around that bot side of the map. I think everyone was communicating, yeah, there's something up, and everyone just be on guard for it. It's going to be summoners and ults down. Nuke really trying to bully out that matchup, doing well in the early game.
It really is, and again, I feel like another part of BDS where you talk about their recomposition and how this team comes together, Nuke kind of being the pinpoint is really important to mention. These are the stats against G2 when BDS 2-0'd them. A very surprising win. I don't know if you take that with a grain of salt with how G2 went at Madrid, but I think you also have to give credit to how well BDS played and it came together. He was clearing caps in that 2-0.
He's been very important when BDS do go toward... Hang on a second, steal there, and that's with Lyncas' smite being down too, so we won't have a smite for another one. Ooh, we might have some smiteless contests here if they stick around.
113, his ult still not up available though, and versus Cyclone, I don't know if you want to take that risk.
That's true. Both of them used that smite on that first one. 113 got it though, so it does mean it's no 6. still. When you have a Yone, Yone is one of the most annoying tower hitters in the whole game because he just kind of somehow rips his soul out of his body, flings it at a tower, uses the grubs, and then walks away with the plate. You can't stick him under that turret either, because he's very good at using those grubs. And we see some local wildlife getting brutally murdered. Thank you, Conservationists here. I support, you know, Dragon Conservation. Goodbye, Ocean Dragon. We loved you.
Well, to be fair, he's a weird-looking dude anyway. Like, his tail is just so small.
Look, I'm just saying, you don't have to just love the preambles. The invertebrates are just as important as everything.
Nah, I live in Australia. I bloody hate snakes. I have to walk through bush, always being like, am I making enough noise? Where's the nearest hospital?
Dude, there are some fun... I do have fun facts, but you probably already know them because you're actually Australian. Yeah. Do you know about the Gimpy tree?
No, I actually don't.
Okay, that's an Australian plant, which is... It translates as the pain tree.
Ah, yes.
And when it's said twice, they really mean it.
Okay.
It has very large leaves, which people might use as impromptu toilet paper. It will send you to the infirmary. It does cause pain and touch. It's very, very bad. Do not do that.
I'm used to a lantana for all Australians out there. Lantana is like the spikiest bush known to man, and it's always on. You walk through and it's like, how is it still on me? It's crazy. That
and Ivan with a Rylise.
Fun fact, as we get ready for this, not even Dragon, we're not getting ready for anything. We're getting ready for Nisqy to just run away. Kangaroos are not your friends, okay?
No.
You think they're all funny? Bro, those things are dangerous, and they're jacked. Like, you've seen the videos of blokes punching kangaroos.
It can go a lot worse for them.
Those things are horrible.
Yeah. So yeah, objectives are down. 5 drops over to Vitality. Yone left with a wave in a side lane right now. There might be a chance for Yone to get... depends what he's going to get out of this next wave. Choosing not to go for E towards tower. She's walking up towards it again. These next couple of... he's walking up now, gets that plate. Again, Yone just... Boink. Only he can do this kind of stuff. I guess LeBlanc kind of can too, but gets himself a little bit there. And credits to Nako. He's made it through the laning phase, which I think is one of the harder parts of Yone nowadays, and is now Yone. He's got to play the Road King. He is full build Yone, and he's made it into the mid game where now BDS need to be aware of 2 mid lane archetypal
it's kind of like the last game. The difference is I think BDS got early grubs, but as Carl said, they couldn't do anything about it. Like, it wasn't like their comp accelerated with it. This game maybe would have been a little bit nicer with Gnar, even with Orianna, who's not a bad turret pusher herself when she starts autoing away. Plates fall down, unable to get the last of that plating that he was working on his nuke, but gets some turret pressure all the same. Nako looking for chase while Nisqy is nearby at level 6, but more so maybe setting up for the future. Seeing if they can open up the turret themselves. Oi, nice shield from you.
Clever. Protects the recall there. Relevant. Could potentially hop forward to use that. Oh, close.
Nisqy, the dive's happening. Onto nuke. Ulti flies through as well as a response. Shockwave, but Nako buffers it. He might still be in trouble though, as his flash is available. Won't be used. Nako relies on his Q. Wind his friend to get him out.
So it's a bit ballsy going on towards nuke. I think they were trying to use the timing before the item evolved from Archangel's left in towards Seraph, so he wouldn't have that defensive shield. Obviously don't quite find that there. Now going to be missing those ultimates, I suppose. It's not for the biggest time as ever. Czajek has to use that ult on top side. That's a little bit more annoying, because again, first, you know, kind of ults of the game, you are much longer cooldown than you would be with something like that, like Malignance, when you have the rower instead.
Dragon's going out in a minute 30. Herald's up in 45. Ice has taken blue away from an Orianna that's walking to bot lane, but then again, there's a minion wave there. I understand it. And Corki still continues to have one of the best skins in the game.
Yes. You know that I have a fun fact about this skin and the animals related. I do. I have so many. Corgis' butts float. Like, put them in water, they are buoyant. The back end will just float up to
I have seen that on many a video. I'm not ashamed to say. It's just, why do they float? They're dense.
Well, no,
they're not dense. They're not dense,
in fact, the opposite. Well, they're buoyant on the other side of it. We did see briefly, before this play kind of started up, I think vision control really was in favor.
Are you really going to leave me with
Yes, I am, because they're at
a dog's bum is buoyant. Oh no, just Corgis.
Just Corgis.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. That's the end of the
now
fun
you can
facts.
leave me with
Now we can talk about vision control because BDS are trying to control it and look for plays.
I'll still let you draw if you want. Lyncas is going into a clone. You have a quick 20 seconds to draw, Nymaera.
No, that's it. That's fine. I've had my fun.
Okay, well,
You can draw.
we're about to get into Dragon. How do you draw a tier?
I don't know. That's close enough. There we go.
Yeah, Nisqy, he's fine. He's Rakan. Every Rakan player knows they're not dead until they're actually dead. And we're Dragon up in 5 seconds. Let's start telling the story of how BDS are going to Dragon stack again.
Well, I mean, you do have Nako who could go towards the tower top side. It's good damage there. I don't think he's really in a good position to teleport now.
Yeah.
If VIT really want to give up a whole soul point, it is just the Chemtech soul, but still dangerous nonetheless.
Lyncas as well with the Mega Blast gun. He'll be in a perfect angle. BDS are going to get engaged on Lyncas. Watch him for now. Ice up against the wall. Nisqy shoves him. Quickness as well. 1-1-3, the defending factor. Nisqy sacrificed his life. That teleport comes through anyway is irrelevant. Now at full HP, but no Mega Naba. Vitality haven't found the pick they wanted. BDS to restart the Dragon.
What a weird engagement Vitality. They call in Nako, but Carzzy's not in the best position. You do still have the bullet time. Things have somewhat reset, but now without a great engaged tool to lay into the bullet time.
Face checking here. He takes half HP. That's the jungler. And Czajek now with his angle might have to pop the ult. He holds on for now. Orbit Deception, no poking damage, no lasting will. And Vitality, they haven't sought out the bill. It's BDS holding onto the table, the food, the dessert, and Nuke. As he runs after Czajek will get an ulti anyway. Czajek, his ulti still up and available. He didn't respect the shockwave, but Lyncas now with a returning play. Nuke flashes as the ulti from Nako brings the play back. This Yone again carrying the play, but he's low. Still gets the knock up to go. Nako's alive. Look at Nisqy as well. He's rejoined in, gets poked out, but lives. Somehow, someway, this top laner is doing it again.
Yes, a 1.4k gold lead down too. The blade and the crit really impactful in that last bit of the play. I mean, it starts with Czajek kind of hesitating a little bit. Would have had to flash here, his ult wouldn't have been quick enough, but I think realistically you just have to take the LDAP, flash and ult. It would have kept you safe and you would have been around for this part of the fight. Imagine you have that Ahri here. You get a reset, that extra damage could have meant all the difference. Of course, this is already after the Dragon's already down. BDS kind of what they got what they came for strategically, but they get a little bit slapped by that Yone, and a reminder that yes, Nako is on that Yone in the top lane. It can be a real threat, building up towards some very powerful items.
It is getting very serious, the discussion that Nako keeps performing. Now, his flash was burnt. He was also shielded by Nisqy, which I think saved him from the big one damage. BDS are still holding this game with 3 dragons, by the way. They got it. They're on soul point. The one grub helps them push, and BDS now with a small gold lead, however quaint. Herald's still up here at 19 and a quarter minutes.
Hey, you have to knock Nako here right now.
They don't want the Herald. This is one of the rare games. I don't think we're going to see Herald down unless they rush it in the next 25 seconds.
They don't have the best damage for it. I mean, if you leash it, it stays alive a little longer. I think it's until 45. We'll say and see if they can stick around and finish it off.
I wonder if it changed with the Baron, though, because Baron doesn't spawn until 25 minutes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, sorry. You're absolutely completely right.
That's all right. I'm just used to it. Back in the day, 6k at least. BDS still holding on to it. The eye exposed, and yeah, they're going to get Herald. They definitely are. Lyncas, his angle with Carzzy as well to set up there. Smite down, irrelevant Mega Gnar, but look, they're turning onto 1-1-3. The quickness out from Nisqy. His angle would be good if he could stay alive. Only just the poke not connecting, but there's the crash down. A one-man shockwave. The bullet time lines it deep as Czajek now looks for a new angle himself, but Lyncas is out of Cyclone. He's out of maneuvers. Nako will get the kill onto 1-1-3. That's a positive, but the Herald and BDS with another objective is the takeaway.
They end up getting the objective if you lose that kill, and the eye is picked up by 1-1-3 importantly. Nako's going to get himself tower on this top side, second of the game, Vitality.
Up 2.5k now.
And he has a lot of gold. This is the kind of game where, you know, Yone ults the backline, you win the fight.
True.
That's one of the beautiful things about this kind of flexibility that Nako brings to the team. I think it's between players like Mirwin and Nako and Broken Blade.
And Carlson.
And Carlson. I feel like the spirit of Darian has lived on in European top laners. That's one for like the old times. You know, I remember that Gambit, Moscow 5 teams. Darian was a special player. And he was only really something that could come through in Europe. And I'm glad that we still have some of that crazy chef stuff happening.
Old. I mean, for me, I think of a chef like Whippo in his prime. I think a bit of Soaz as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even that old. Like 2018 Worlds Finals for that guy.
You know,
He came in
funnily
game
enough,
3.
Lyncas actually played against Diamond Prox in NLC in 2020.
Really?
He came back for a split to play on
Oh my
Prox.
god.
Yeah, so we actually did play against one of those old gods of Europe. It's fun to remember back to them, remember some of our history every now and again. And for you folks who didn't start watching back then, honestly, go back and we'll learn some of those stories. Go sit back and watch them. They are very, very special. It's nice to remember the
Go back and watch
tapestry of
EULCS.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you remember Kerp and his trackball? You have to mention the trackball if you mention Kerp from Millennium. He was a very good Fizz player.
All I remember is the trackball. Good
Yeah,
boy.
I have to say, that's all I really remember beside the Fizz too.
Yeah.
He's really good at the trackball though.
I feel like, I mean, by the way, you know what a fun fact is?
Yeah.
I was looking to Instagram or Twitter, I don't know, whatever
Something,
the platform
social
was.
media.
I tried to location this place. It's still on that platform called LCS Studio. And I'm like, man, I don't even remember it being around in like 2015, 2016. I know it was up to like 2018, 19 at some point. And someone's going to correct me. Medic sitting at home going, actually, you medic with your doctorate and certificates and brain cells and such.
Medic, he does scare me in the fact that he does actually have more fun facts than me, and I've had a lot today already.
He has too much of a lot of things. It's set up. All right, are you ready to get me going?
Yeah.
15 seconds. It's Soul Point. Lyncas in. Great Cyclone onto ice. There's a Magnus Storm though, a disengaged. Lyncas doing a good job until Nisqy sets up for the bullet time to spike down. The cannon's unleashed and Carzzy sends BDS down. Vitality have done a good job, but to continue this, they've got to stop the dragon.
How the heck did they manage to cleanly pull that engage off through the middle of that team fight onto the Corki? Czajek gets the charm, the bullet time's over the top, and that's going to stop the Chemtech soul point coming through from BDS. No, it's not the most important soul of all of them, but it's still an important thing to look towards. It makes it harder to kill those carries, and each Chemtech Dragon gives you some of that very vital tenacity, which you can't get from many places in League right now. Each Dragon gives you 6% of it. Can be very important. Vitality, great engage, and they didn't even need to call the Yone down. Still has that flash, still has that teleport. They didn't even need him.
What's with Vitality finding clutch fights in this series? I think it's becoming a bit of a trend now as we look again off the back of Lyncas closing the gap.
I mean, this is insane. How the hell he finds it in here? Flashes forward for the E, still has that clone afterwards. Second knockup comes through, and Czajek finds the charm. Beautiful, threading the needle. Bullet time over the top, forces the disengage afterwards. That is a wonderful engage coming through. Vitality, they're a team of two sides sometimes, but that is one of their better ones. Great engage.
As you said, top laners didn't join in, but Lyncas also getting some gold for himself was big as ice. The observers looking at the dog booty. I see you,
It's in the river, it's floating.
Yeah, I see. It is floating. It is buoyant.
Used to be Mazel that gave me all the fun animal facts.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he was a zookeeper.
Yeah. Sometimes you learn some strange. I think the strangest thing I ever learned about. Now, this one we're going to do something.
Nah, he's okay.
Strangest thing I ever learned about a co-caster was someone said, just randomly on cast, oh yeah, I can contort myself to fit into a suitcase. Who tells you that when you're in the middle of a game? Like a beautiful crow. I don't know whether he can still do it, but at that then, he convinced me of it.
Depends how big the suitcase is, because I can go in a suitcase too. I'm going to tell you that right now. If it's about...
if it's a big enough suitcase, I mean, look, I was
like
assuming,
176.
I was assuming it was a regular size suitcase.
Okay,
Anyway, I was completely shook.
I can fit in a clown car, you know.
I think several people can.
To be fair, anyone who plays League of Legends sometimes is a zookeeper too, by the way. Just a shout out to myself. That's just what we all feel like sometimes in solo queue. Herald! Oi, oi, oi. It's going to open up things in inner turret if they get the push, but look, it's 113 who's using it with a shockwave. Lyncas called out, no engaged monkey anymore. Vitality have lost their core member. Nisqy runs away, losing his health, taking my tongue and finding anything more as Nako. His ulti's only a one-man. This is not what you want out of the Yone, who's so fed. Permafrost on top, but Nako looks for a re-engage. Jumps in, no other option. Vitality had it all together until this one play. A shutdown to nuke, and for BDS, they've picked the pieces off one by one. Nice target selection. A bullet timeout is an afterthought, but Nisqy will not be in range to follow up. Czajek wants the same as well, but BDS are grouped. All five going to Baron.
That was a lot uglier. Lyncas goes down early, and it means that he can't be that huge whirling cyclone to mess things up and open up some extra gaps to find that engage. 113 finds the target. This time it goes a lot better for him. Falls on top of him too. Gets the shockwave. There is no chance for that Wukong to do anything there. I think there's a bit of a mistake here afterwards where I think Czajek and Nako do actually have the damage to turn things around. A couple of missed skill shots.
Yeah.
bit greedy positioning that. Means that there's no real hope of turning it beyond that point. I do think there was an angle. Can't execute it on the way beforehand. BDS do a great job of removing a lot of the tools at the start of the fight and then punishing.
And look, Carzzy was zoned by the Mega Gnar. He was stuck under that inner turret. Irrelevant made sure he couldn't leave and get a bullet time to cross over that red area. So, yeah, for Vitality, it feels like a bit of a rough play, but a really good pickup from BDS sets the game alight again. Dragon, remember, is another sole opportunity in 1 minute 30. BDS like those odds, remembering how we set up their composition to be so team fight reliant. They're front to back with Nuke almost having 3 items. It is a real deal.
And one of those 3 items being the Zhonya's top of the other defensive item. Is very difficult, right? You are playing towards 5v5, protecting your carries, and if they have a little bit more to protect themselves, it's very good. 2.5k up. Hell yeah, Nuke has ran away with that individual matchup. Yes, I think Czajek had a crucial charm in the pick onto ice a little earlier and will continue to have some pressure like that. But Nuke, if he is allowed to actually get a shockwave off and multiple shields and QW cooldowns, will be much more valuable.
Well, it takes one. It's a big game of ultis. For a deciding game for Vitality, they're going to make sure that Nako gets a layer with Lyncas. Baron, Rakan also up, by the way. There are objectives staring us in the face. Vitality seem to be posturing towards the top one. Remembering again that BDS, all they have to do is make the switch and they'll get soul for themselves. Pings are going down. I think we're going to A-Ram for a bit. Nymaera, I think that's just the usual course.
While that's happening though, I think if it comes down to that, Vitality feel happier. Because they have the Yone in the sideline. He's going to back now. How much gold has he got in pocket? Because he's going back for something. See if he gets the Infinity Edge. He's going to get the Infinity Edge just now. That is a huge buy for Nako.
Yeah.
That 3rd item, if he gets onto the backline, you can see that pop up on your screen. If he hits the backline, the fight is over. So, Nako, see if he can find the angle. Has Flash, has that ultimate, has level 16. And here comes Lyncas, doesn't pull the Cyclone.
Already flashes over the wall, 1-1-3 with the Glacial Prison now. Lyncas might be out, but no flash to close the gap as an engage is a useful tool.
Sejuani all being down short term. Pretty big for BDS to give up 2. Now, Soul is available, but I think that Vitality might be having to give that one over. Teleport coming in now. BDS hits Dark. Can they come over and do something about it?
It's because Nako's by himself. He sectioned over the wall, saw what he could see, and sees that BDS are not doing the Soul yet. Vitality pull off the Baron. They also got Nuke's TP, so a slight win, but remember, Czajek also teleported in. Indecision, but now, finally a thought. The thought is Dragon again.
BDS still don't have that Sejuani ultimate. Nako's going to get the team-wide red buff. It's also very nasty when you've got a lot of auto-attackers. Can Lyncas get himself into the fight without the flash? Shockwave really dangerous in this choke.
It is indeed, but I'm looking Lyncas for the setup engage. Magastorm good with the ball time as well. Nako in the back line. Now on top of ice. He's a nuisance. He's a hindrance. He's a bother. And trying to do the same. Irrelevant. He's looking for his big starter moment, but he won't get it. Instead, he flashes away. Running in, Nako. His ulti. His last hit, but Carzzy finishes it off in the pit. It's Nuke again. He sits with his Orianna and he clears. Czajek has got nothing left in the tank apart from his W. A charm flash as well. When there's a Nuke, there's a way for BDS.
Just like he can split the atom, Nuke splits Vitality, stays away from his other carry to stop the great clump that Vitality would have looked towards, and gets huge, huge value. Look at the way that he just holds the ball in River and just says, all right, you can't get into an easy fight, gets away for the initial engage, and then he stops something like stacking up with Ice for a big wombo combo. He just walks up brazenly into the fight and says, all right, I can take out this Ahri. While at the other side of the fight, Ice is starting to clean up, and Nuke is still getting those multiple QWs that we were talking about beforehand. Vitality don't get onto the backline, and they get outvalued over time.
And I feel like I didn't do Ice enough justice as well. His team fight positioning there was brilliant. He survived so long, and he was a thorn in the side of Nako too. So both those carries cleaning up the hopes of BDS fans and putting it back in a right, or rather, back in control. They've also got Soul now as well. And the gold is skyrocketing in their favor.
So much of it's in mid lane. There's a whole hat. There's a whole hat.
Oh,
Nuke is so strong. And I haven't seen Nako have that game-winning ult. That's what we were talking about with this Yone, that you get through the early game, but at the end of the day, you will be a Yone if you get out of that laning phase. BDS take their recent wins. They'll go towards this top side. There is a teleport on Nako. You could go behind this red buff. Does he feel like there's an angle?
Nisqy might. He's got flash available as well, but jumping in. Czajek is just dead. He had ult available again. Second time this game he's died with ulti available. Nako says, screw it. I'm going to solo Rakan, and he definitely will.
If you can solo this, maybe there is a chance they can get the GA and then go towards the Baron to fight it, but I just don't know if the timing is going to work out. Nako will get the GA for his team and then see if he can teleport up and contest the Baron.
Remember, that goes to Czajek as well. He'll have to teleport in because he's a little bit low. So now that Rakan's done, what can Lyncas do? His flash not available. Carzzy looking for the ulti over the wall. It's a smite. Now Carzzy's isolated, so that GA might be for naught unless he can find anything on ice, and he can't. GA used, teleport to match. Nisqy wants to stop the ports. Lyncas goes into the shadows. But all he will find is Parus. He will not pull the trigger. Parus is going to back away. He's not even going to try and stop the tempo here. Lyncas just hoping for a little bit more. Hoping for Nuke.
No. He's done a great mind game. Because they didn't see him going to Parus, he can go on to Nuke.
You're right. He pulls the Cyclone. Shockwave going to be used, so Lyncas needs another turn. He doesn't have his flash available, so Nisqy has to get involved. Now that the Shockwave's done, Nuke should be dying here, but he's surviving for long. For long! Not for long. Lyncas gets the shutdown. As you said, the mind game works out.
I did not believe in the mind game at first, but he makes sure that Parus recalls and doesn't jump on the easy target. Instead, waits for them, mind games the recall, goes top lane and kills the Orianna. That will take the teeth out of some of the Baron push, especially with the 40-second death timer for the mid laner of BDS. We are now in a point where this game is likely to go towards an Elder Dragon. You have to feel it at this point. Chemtech Soul, again, not the most powerful one. I think the Chemtech Dragons actually are, because they heal and shield power and stuff like, you know, the Orianna shield and the Seraphs. Actually, that's really important. A lot of people overlook the base stats of the Chemtech Dragons, and of course the tenacity as well. And I think just at this point, we are now at BDS late game 5v5 potential. As long as Nuke and Ice are not clumped on top of each other, Vitality have struggled to shut them down. Vitality need to find a way to take out one of the carries easily without the other one getting value, or take out both at once if they're starting to fire off, or these fights look a little bit gnarly.
Well, 2 minutes till that Elder, as you said, and I'm going to start looking towards Ice and his Infinity Edge. He's got an enhanced recall. I think we'll see it now. Pickaxe, BF Sword. And Infinity Edge, yes, there it is. So, 4-item Corki, 4-item Carzzy. Still doesn't have upgraded boots, but can't blame him when he's just trying to match par for par. And, you know, in this game, you know, Czajek's really got to step up to the plate as well, and it's hard. You know, Nymaera, it's a 2.5-item Ahri.
Yeah, you're a support Ahri at this point. You're a support Ahri. You're this far behind. It's really hard to do this.
Big mistake. Charm comes out. Parus might be dead. Bullet time, though, from Carzzy. He doesn't want to pull it out. Ice is coming to support this. Is turning into a full-blown fight. Nisqy flashes away. The poke from Ice is meaningful. Nisqy looks for a re-engage. Parus was still caught, is still low, and as the dodge comes through from Czajek, it's great. It's only for a charm, but Nako is over the wall, and he's Shockwave. The bullet time does nothing. Irrelevant might be a mini Gnar, but he can tank it up. Vitality getting sliced and diced. All together, BDS get their grouped up team fight.
Well, Nuke's got a hydrogen bomb and they're against a coughing bee, it looks like.
It's a flash. He faked the flash. Czajek tried to get over the wall, but Nuke is akin to such devilish moves, and he'll delay the back. He'll be a nuisance. He knows he wins a 1v1. And Czajek will slowly but surely die. And this game going to BDS and going to a game 3. Oh, he missed. Nuke is toying with him. He also dodged the charm. It's a skill check at this point. And even if he doesn't die or not, BDS, their team fighting cannot be understated as we go the full limit.
Almost a Civ HD flash to escape. Doesn't matter either way. The Nexus will fall. We will have a 3-game series between BDS and Vitality. Does BDS take game 2?
It's just padding the stats in the end, and Parus a bait? I don't think so. But hot damn, does Nuke deserve respect alongside Ice for that game?